Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. And out of about the 20,000 or so men, 25 plus out there watching the show right now, about 3,300 of you at some point in your life, 1 in 6 will develop prostate cancer. That's why right now is the best time to go and check Tennova.com and go click on Medical Services. Under Medical Services, you'll see where you can click on their Men's Health Center of Excellence. It is a great, great service for men of all ages here in East Tennessee. Prostate cancer, as I say, 1 in 6 men will get it, but it is a disease that is incredibly beatable if you catch it early. And most men aren't going to have to start worrying about it until they're about 50. Happened to me at 40. So it's something that it is wise for you to discuss with your doctor, but also make a note of the Men's Health. I always want to flip those words, the Men's Health Center of Excellence at Tennova Healthcare. They do a great job with it. As someone who's been through it, I can't say enough good things about Tennova. Find out more at Tennova.com. All right, can't say enough good things about this guy either, Bob Hodge.
That's nice.
Bob Hodge. I couldn't think of a better segue. Bob Hodge, freelance contributor to the Knoxville News Sentinel. As we count down to Tennessee spring practice, we're touching on different formations, just different position groups each week, 2 a week. Right now we start with running backs, and we've got a little graphic we put up each week. Grade for 2014. What do you give the running backs last year? What kind of a grade for Lane and Hurd, basically?
I tell you what, mine would be a B. And I think it could have been better if you'd had a better offensive line, but with the offensive line they had, I think Jalen Hurd, you didn't get to see his explosiveness a lot of times because he gets a handoff, the hole, it's kind of messed up, so he doesn't get to hit it at going full speed. So B.
Just letter grades, quick.
Oh,
B minus. Because other than Hurd, you really didn't get production out of hardly anybody, so B minus.
Okay.
C plus and a ding for short yardage in a lot of cases.
I'd give it about a B minus, just because I'll grade on the curve because basically you had 2 guys. That's tough in the SEC. Brings us to question number 2. Running back position better or worse in 2015?
Better.
Better because of one key addition, and I think we would probably agree on that, Kamara. I mean, and I think from what we're hearing, it sounds like he's really turned some heads over there.
And better because Hurd and Kamara is the better combination than Hurd and Lane.
Yeah, Kamara's a kid that, you know.
I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, based on what his junior college coaches had to say, this is a guy that, you know, you don't want to blow him up too much, but it's a Cordero Patterson type. You don't know if he gets the ball in his hand, he could be gone on any down.
Well, and that's the one position where newcomers in the SEC have flourished.
Great point.
Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Arkansas.
And
So if you're really good at running back, you can come in and make an impact.
And Kamara, of course, started his career at Alabama. Let's bring us to the big question. Let's just get right to this. Will the Vols have enough depth in 2015? Last year it was Hurd and Lane. This year it's Hurd and Kamara. Hurd has ongoing shoulder issues, had them again. Kamara was booted from the Alabama team. So is he going to keep his nose clean here? Other than that, question marks again. Will you have enough depth to survive in the SEC?
You know, if John Kelly, the freshman, comes in and he can play, then I think your depth issues are going to be mitigated a little bit. But if he comes in and he can't play, I think you have real questions because of Hurd's shoulder issues and just the fact you've got 2 guys. Let's say Tennessee wants to run the ball 35 times a game. Okay, that's 17, 18 times a piece if you divided it evenly. And that doesn't give you that third wheel to come in and get 5 or 6 carries a game. So I think the depth is going to be an issue if somebody gets hurt.
I think so, too. I think depth is a concern. And I don't know if Kelly's going to be like Darrell Scott or more like Jalen Hurd. Who knows?
Right.
You have more evidence that Kamara is really good than you do Kelly. And then you got the Abernathy, the kid from Cincinnati that came in. He's kind of like a Devin Young. He's going to be a third down guy, flip it to him out of the backfield in passing situations. I think in this league where you typically have a lot of injuries at a position, I think depth is a concern.
I don't think you have to wait for an injury. I think it already is, and I think there's somebody there now that is going to emerge, that you're going to need to emerge, and we don't know who that is probably.
You didn't have that. Nobody emerged last year. I think they got lucky last year. Lane was banged up. Hurd was banged up. They were never banged up enough at the same time that you didn't have either one of them ready in a big game. That was a lucky break because you were running so thin there. If anywhere there's a concern to me in terms of where Butch Jones is building, it's that running back spot because there's just not a lot of depth there yet. Trayvon Polk, dismissed from the team for allegedly punching a girl. Charges weren't pressed, but punched a female allegedly. There's still a rumor out there that he could be coming back. I don't think he will be back. Thoughts?
No,
I'm in your camp.
I don't think he'll be back either.
Highly unlikely. 2%.
You agree, Chuck?
Well, I don't know 2%, but yeah, highly unlikely.
Chuck wants
I mean, that's the kind of milk I drink, Jimmy.
Chuck wants the odds.
One thing about it, do you try to put Pig Howard in the backfield some? Do you try to get 5 or 6 carries
Well,
a game out of Pig Howard?
I've even wondered, I mean, even
do a
an
lot of
Evan
jet sweep.
Berry. I mean, have you got somebody that may not be playing at another position? Do you experiment some with that in spring practice? If you can get them on the field sooner, I think you give it a shot.
They tried Barry a little bit during the bowl practices,
Yeah.
and he quickly went back to defense.
I know.
So
Yeah.
for some reason, so I'm going to acquiesce to that.
And-
Maybe that.
And that's another part of this offense. Assuming that it remains the same offense and Mike DeBoer doesn't come in and call a lot fewer jet sweeps, that's another part. That's another part of your run game, basically.
And can you get Hurd and Kamara on the field at the same time? If you go back to your best 11 athletes on the field, is there something you can do there?
Some way to get them both out there. All right. Running back position, talent, but not a lot of depth. We'll talk a little later about defensive backs. When we come back, the Donnie Tyndall situation. We'll play some what-if scenarios through. What if this happens? What if that happens? What does Tennessee do? So we got basketball, football, the Lady Vols name thing back in the news. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Quality, quick. Trust Fast Frame.